Yo.
Hey, welcome to the new meta, episode 189.
189. Incredible.
Season 2, episode 7, 5? I don't know.
Or so, yeah.
What is it? We need to figure that out so I can actually say it right. I'll start writing those in the notes.
Yeah.
How you been?
Doing all right.
Same. I saw that they put out some newer D4 news.
Are you still playing this game or
What game?
Diablo 4?
No, I'm joking. No, I'm not playing it.
Really?
I mean, no.
Oh.
It's not. I don't know.
You mean you don't know? What don't you know?
I know that there's not enough motivation to keep me wanting to play.
Yeah.
You know? It's not that I think the game's bad. There's just not enough stuff to keep me wanting to play the game.
Okay.
So, especially not over other things. I think there's just, I don't know. So there's a buffet of stuff out there. So,
Is there though?
to me, there is.
Variety gamer.
Yeah, I guess.
Gross. Well, let's not
How
waste
about
any
you?
time.
You still playing a lot?
Of course I'm still playing a lot. I do feel like every single patch, so like, when this game first came out, people were like, oh my god, Necro can't do anything.
Yeah.
And so we made the shadow build, and it's like, okay, cool. And then everyone's like, well, there's really only a bone spear. And then we made the pet build. And now it's like, well, blood, you can't make anything with blood. Of course, now we've made a really good blood build. So it's just like, I feel like people just don't know how to put builds together. And they just like, I don't know. They're like, oh, well, it sucks. There's nothing you can play with that. So it's like, or they just have unreasonable expectations. Like they expect, like every single build should be like pumping out 12 million damage a second. And I don't know.
Yeah. So it seems like maybe the fun for you is just figuring out the builds.
Yeah.
And making the builds. Yeah.
Literally.
I could see that. So
People need us,
let's jump into the polls from the last week, and then we can dive into all the Diablo news we have.
Yeah. So
there is some news.
There is actually season 1 Poggies. Anyways, new meta pet class question of the week from last time: Diablo 4 post launch. What are your thoughts? Option 1, everything I dreamed. Option 2, good but needs work. Option 3, meh, disappointed. Option 4, dog shit is.
Okay.
Coming in,
tell me about those results.
70% of the vote was good but needs work. Second place, the 15% of the vote says meh, disappointed. 12% of the vote says everything I dreamed, and 3% says dog shit is. So,
okay.
Were you that 3%? Was that you?
No, I don't think it's dog shit's pretty rough. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's I probably would have voted for option number 3. What was option number 3? Meh.
Yeah, meh, disappointed.
Yeah, I would. It's weird. It's such a weird spot for me. I'm between that and needs work. It's definitely needs a lot of work. So
yeah, you're probably disappointed.
Yeah, a little disappointed.
Yeah, I'm probably good. Needs work. I think if we take a step back, right, and we look at where Diablo 3 was a vanilla and where Diablo 4 is a vanilla, then it's light years ahead. So like that gives me promise.
Yeah, I agree with that. I see where Diablo ended up at, Diablo 3, and then Diablo 4 is in a better starting spot,
Yeah.
So,
but also if you look at where D3 ended, it's also a disappointment. So it's
and I think it ended up there because of abandonment too.
Yeah.
So
true.
I don't know. I hope that D4 doesn't follow the same fate. I don't think it'll be abandoned, so to say. I think it'll more be bad decisions from people who don't play the game.
What are the actually current numbers? Let me look real quick. It's still 32,000, which is like rank 4.
Still doing decent.
Yeah, well, that's not rank 4. Never mind. Recommend viewers. There we go.
Yeah, you get viewers.
Okay, so it's like second row.
12.
Huh. Okay.
Well, it's in 13th spot. It's still on front page at least.
Yeah. It's been over a month, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
6-6.
It's not bad at all.
Not bad. and the big boys aren't on it. So, let's see. And then the poll for next week, new Meta Podcast question of the week. What is your excitement level for the upcoming season of the Malignant for Diablo 4? Option 1, oh my god, poggers. Option 2, excited, but wanted more. Option 3, meh. Option 4, dog shit is. And tweet that out.
Go cast your vote. Let's see if we fall in the same bucket. Next pod, we'll make sure we give our opinions.
Indeed.
Or how we would have voted.
Indeed. And we'll
go make a bunch of fake
dive
accounts and skew the results.
for sure into this season of the Malignant.
Yeah.
But first up on the docket, unless you have something else you want to touch on before we get into it.
I threw something in there, but no, we can start with the Rise Up.
Yes. So in Australia, this billboard is outside of Melbourne, and it says "Welcome to Hell 6623," and there was a lawsuit that was filed against Blizz because it was offensive to Christians/Catholics. It has religious reasons and promoting evil and satanic paraphernalia. The words "Welcome to Hell Melbourne" as part of advertisements for this game and the picture of the devil are offensive to me as a Christian. The imagery also is inappropriate for my children to see and has already given them nightmares. The imagery is frightening to children as a demonic-looking character is staring at the camera, creating the effect of staring at the observer. It is located in the prominent position beside a breezy fry where children have a clear view of a very large billboard. I feel it's inappropriate to show such disgusting and disturbing content on a billboard which children are seeing on a daily basis and has no context for an adult of 43. I found it unsettling. It's scary for young children who see it. But even as an adult, it brought back memories of the hell of the 2 years of lockdowns in Melbourne. The language and words used are not necessary to get across the game message about the release of this game.
I don't know
There's
what
so many layers.
The laws are in Australia, but goodness.
Yeah. Wow.
Like go get some therapy, man. It seems like you need to worry about other things than suing Blizzard.
How does this remind you of COVID? Like, literally. Like,
yeah, I have no idea. I don't even know. Like, it's not even scary. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lady. There's way more terrifying commercials on TV and other things
for
scary movies.
For sure.
So, like, yeah.
Yeah, it's wild to me. And, yeah.
On top of that, I don't think there's any, like, I'm not in Australia. I would say in the US, there's no laws about, like, if I wanted to have a satanic religion, there's no laws that say that I can't recruit for that religion or post. You know what I mean?
How many billboards do we see on the way from St. Louis to Kansas City that's like, you know, Jesus is your savior, like call this number, like
all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Like
that's offensive.
Yeah. So it's like I could put, you know, I could definitely, if I was, I don't know the laws or even what religions exist. I'm sure there are, you know, religious practices everywhere that are like, you know, satanic worshiping stuff. So if they wanted to get a billboard, I don't think it's illegal for them to do that. You may not like it, but I don't think it's illegal. So
yeah, it's super cringe, especially throughout the end. It's like, it reminds me of the hell of lockdown. Like, oh, let's try to get some like COVID empathy going here. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah, that Karen's probably got, like, if we could look up her stats, she's probably filed so many lawsuits. You know,
probably. And it's like also a billboard, so it's like how many kids do you know are like driving up and down the freeway every day that has to see this? Right. I don't know. Yeah. Like what? Anyways, Karens, so gotta love them.
Karens, man. Karens are there for the TikToks of the world. They're so funny to watch. Great. You know, like they're fantastic. I'm glad they exist.
Yeah. And then, you know, in other news, sadly, you know, the really cool statue of Lilith popped up at Blizzard headquarters. And they said, you know, the first 1,000 characters that makes it to 1,000, you know, get engraved on this thing. And I thought this was sort of peculiar when they sort of announced that they're like, oh, just tweet at Blizz, like with your proof. And of course, this guy, Raphael, he did all the things he was supposed to do. God, there's so many ads on the site. Was top 14 global and tagged and streamed the whole thing, and somehow he didn't make it on the list. So Blizzard came back and was like, yeah, you know, human error. Sorry. But like, to me, it's like, how did Who was even
How are you
managing
gonna make
this?
that? You're gonna make that promotion, and you don't have a way to track it in game.
Yeah, and it seemed like
That's
that
kind of my
would be the
thing.
better way to do it. Like not tweeting
Yeah.
at them like that. I feel like
That's
because how
silly.
would you track that? Like you just like click on every single one of your notifications and like write it down somewhere. Like
Yeah, yeah, that's super horrible. Like, I'm sure PoE does this by tracking. I know for Destiny races, on the Destiny races for things like that, they internally log it, and so like they'll have who they think is their winner, but they go back and they say, there's always an asterisk that says until we officially confirm, with the appropriate teams that can view data and look at logs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you would think there's an achievement for hitting 100, like you're in hardcore, you hit 100, it's not logged somehow in a database anywhere, somewhere.
yeah,
I don't know.
wild to me.
Crazy to me, man. So, oops.
Yeah, whoops, indeed.
Oh yeah, I hit 100 in hardcore Blizzard. You didn't see my tweet? Let me.
It also seems super weird to me because there is in existence like a Diablo 4 Armory page where like I think I finished 126. And so like the tech is there, like obviously if like someone can rate like an API for it, like so they're tracking it, so like they couldn't have double checked it against their own data. I don't know. Seems weird.
Does seem weird.
But I guess it's like only the people that tweeted at them. I don't know. Is it an attempt to get more Twitter followers? I don't know.
Probably more social media, more press, more free ads.
Yeah, more engagement. And then you added something.
I thought this was fake when I first heard it. Like I actually read this in a different article somewhere, and it said that Blizzard surpassed 666 million in sales, and I was like, that's just like there's no, But then I looked into it, and it's actually true. They tweeted out and announced that 5 days. They weren't marking the official start date for the pre-launch people. It was the actual regular open launch for everyone. But 666 million in 5 days.
It's pretty nutty.
Ooh, a lot of money, boys.
What did Immortal do? I don't remember.
I don't know. It was a lot. It wasn't that though. It was like.
It was not. Okay, good.
I don't think it was. I'm pretty sure it wasn't that. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see those numbers. For some reason, I want to say like 50 or 100 million stuck in my head. It was a lot, but it wasn't 666, which is kind of nutty. The number almost seems made up because of its Diablo, right? It's like they're just saying that, right? But if it's actually true, then that's cool. Part of me is a little sad because I feel like the game was released prematurely. Without enough end-game content developed and some other things, other flaws I think the game has. As good as the good things are there too, but there's also a lot of negatives. But I think those staggering numbers are just going to reinforce like, oh, we made the best game ever. It's perfect. Like look at the numbers we did. So
yeah, I think that like you're right. Like obviously this game probably should have been delayed more, and like we should have gotten a couple more things to do in the end game. Have been nice, but I think at the base of it, especially as playing Necro, like I've only made Necro, like I have not started up anything else. So I know the class inside and out at this point because I'm on my third Necro. There's just so much shit on the tree that doesn't fucking work. There's so many things that like are just busted, and like interactions that work at first, but then they break if you like have a certain combination. Like, yeah, it's just like, it's wild to me how many bugs. Like I expect bugs, of course, right? Like things that this couldn't have foreseen. But yeah, it's sort of wild, like how many things are just like straight up broken. Yeah. So, and they've patched a lot in their defense, but there's still, there's still so much.
They've been reacting pretty quickly to feedback and to patching for sure, at least nerfing stuff. All the broken stuff that comes out, like, oh, watch me one shot Uber Lilith, with XYZ build. It seems like they're pretty quick to be able to nerf those. But even an example, did we talk about this? I don't think, and maybe we'll hit it later, but like an example with the Shakos dropping on the chest.
Talk about that. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, like, so just interesting.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of money though, man. Like,
it's a fuck ton of money.
They made a crazy amount of money, so hopefully they can keep investing in the game and get it to the place we want it to be. You know, if the return is still there, if their battle pass does well, as much as I hate battle passes, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And then a couple things that I saw on this sort of blue Blizz tracker. One is they did talk about the thing we just mentioned, right? So apparently Helltide chests just weren't dropping uniques, which I didn't even know. All those hours farmed. I guess I never saw one. So until they made a patch, it was like, yeah, now it can, obviously, because that seems weird for it not to have a chance. But the problem was that they like overdid it. And so if you made like a barb or a sorcerer and you like did helmet chests, those two classes don't have a lot of options for the helmet, and so you had just an increased chance of getting a super rare helmet like Andariel's or Shaco. And so according to this, 142 accounts obtained Uber uniques, which is still not that fucking many. Like it was still a grind. But yeah, that's crazy.
And some had multiple though. Like I definitely saw clips of them getting 2 in one drop.
Right.
So
good for them, you know?
Yeah, it is cool. It's just, but that just kind of leads back to, like you were saying, it's just another bug. Like, oops, we put this thing in now, but we botched it. You know what I mean? So
I think it's interesting too that, like, okay, the decision is made. I guess since it's only 142 counts, like, don't roll back, obviously, but I don't know. It's interesting to see that, and like I wonder if this is an inclination of how they'll react in the future, or like how bad does it have to get for them to want to take action?
Would you have wanted them to take it away? What would you have done?
I think in this state of the game, like I said, like if everyone got a Shaco tomorrow, I don't think it fucking matters. It's vanilla Diablo 4. None of this shit really matters. Like there's no leaderboard. I mean, people can kill Lilith for bragging rights, but there's no point in even doing that. So I don't really care at this stage of the game. But you know, if it's season 3 and we have leaderboards, and like there's a problem where like some exploiters got, you know, a Shaco and now they're rank 1 on every leaderboard, like and then I'd be like, this fucking sucks. But you know, that goes back to the question we talked about from last week, where it's like, well, Shaco shouldn't exist if there's leaderboard. Like it just shouldn't. So, I don't know.
I think that's kind of the chase. It's a weird thing, man. Like you want the power. Diablo has this really unique. World of Warcraft does this a little bit, but I don't think even as well as Diablo. They create this unique thing where it's like, okay, let's make competition and we'll base that competition on skill, right? But we're also going to base that competition on the gear you have. And that's RNG. You know what I mean? And so it makes this weird thing where it's like, yeah, you can outperform people with better gear than you because you're a better skilled player. But at the end of the day, you still have to get the gear too. And part of me likes that because that's what gives you the grind to want to keep playing. Oh, I want to get those drops. I want to get these things to compete more. But at the same time, after so much time passes and then you're falling behind because you don't get the drops, it's also a frustration point at the same time. But I think that's pretty. I mean, I guess a lot of games are pulling that off, but Diablo just has such a huge pull on both sides of the skill gap and the gear gap. So,
another hotfix that was super interesting was, and I don't feel like these hotfixes get enough noise. Like I feel like they should pop up on your like launcher.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice until today, but basically, so Bloodlands got significantly nerfed, but it was literally lagging out the servers. But I think this is good because they say that like, yeah, it's a nerf, but it's just a temporary fix until we find like a better way to like sort of rework the skill or aspects and stuff like that. So hopefully season 1 we get some crazy stuff because Bloodlands is fun. I've been putting a blood build together, and it's probably the second favorite build I've played in this game so far. So only buffs on the way. It's exciting for that. And then the thing happened finally. We got an announcement. The season of the Malignant July 20th.
I know you watched this.
Of course.
There's no way you didn't. I did too.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch it live or did you wait?
I watched it live.
Okay, I did too. We're gonna talk about it a lot, but something that jumped out to me instantly.
Yeah. It was sort of weird. I'm sure you had the same reaction at first. It's like, they're hyping this up in all the sort of Diablo channels, and we're like, okay, cool, like another developer roundtable, but obviously they're going to announce like season, and they gave us that little teaser the night before that was like the map sort of getting covered, and it's like, okay, they're going to talk about Diablo 4 stuff, and then they came on and they didn't say like, hey, like this is going to be something we're gonna get to Diablo 4 in a second, but first up, it was just like they sort of went right into like Diablo Immortal and the Blood Knight, and it was like,
I'm not gonna lie, I left the stream for a little bit.
Oh shit!
You're talking about DI, and then I came back and just watched. I was watching the VOD, probably like 10 minutes delayed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then I just skipped it. I saw the Blood Knight stuff.
We're not even gonna talk.
I don't care. I don't really care.
It's not even that we don't care. It's just like I feel like we've made a conscious decision that we're not going to talk about Emerald because it's like predatory and bullshit. So,
yeah, I don't even like the game.
But so to me, this is sort of wild because, like, this is Twitch, right? They're streaming on Twitch. And I get they're a company, they want to market some new thing that they've worked on. They want people to come check it out.
Yeah.
But let's look at Twitch, right? 88 fucking viewers in the Diablo Immortal directory. What audience do you think you're reaching on Twitch? Where like people on Twitch, they know what games are out there. Like it's not like people on Twitch are like, oh, I didn't know they had a mobile game. Like you're talking to like gamers. And so like what demographic do you think
it's like a forced advertisement?
Yeah.
Because they know that we want the D4 juice. That's why we're there. That's why they didn't hype it up. And that's also why they went first, right?
Yeah.
Because if you talked about Diablo 4 first and then you went to Immortal, everybody would leave.
Right. Yeah.
It would have been amazing to see the stream numbers though. Yeah. And that would have been so fantastic. The Diablo 4 devs actually seem nice. Like what the sections I watched, they seemed like they were nice guys.
Yeah.
The special guest to me made me lose my mind. I was like, please just be quiet. Just
sit about Rod?
Yes.
Yeah. Rod?
Like, fuck.
Here's the thing, dude. Like, I like Rod.
I do too. I actually do too.
But I think he causes more confusion than he's worth on there. I think what his play is, he's like, well, I'm a hyper casual. And so I'm going to represent that demographic and sort of like try to ask questions to explain like everything that's like being announced. But all he ends up doing is like making the situation 100 times more confusing. And I made this comment to Blizz and feedback channels, and it's just like, dude, just present all the shit and then let Twitch ask questions. Like, don't like this whole like thing that they keep doing, especially in these round tables where they're like they make up questions to ask each other. Like when they obviously know the answer, it doesn't feel organic. It feels very forced. It doesn't feel like good. Just like do your speech, which is appreciated. We love it, but like.
Just show us the juice. Like, you don't have to drag it out either. Like we don't need a 2-hour stream for you to show us the juice. If it's a 20-minute stream, then just give us the 20 minutes that we need.
Yeah.
It was the transitions were awkward. They feel like they were forced. He would derail topics, and at times it felt to me like he was trying to be like, "Hey, look, I play the game. Like I actually play it, and I'm the top guy, right?"
Yeah.
But it was like. Like not really.
Right.
But like you said, I like him. He was so distracting and he brought down the quality of the stream tremendously in my view. It didn't seem professional when he was interjecting and just kind of, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it sort of felt like they had their inner office banter, which, good for them. They have a good work environment, stuff like that. But this is like you're presenting to like the world right now. Like just
this is like
out.
Professional go time.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is like put your hat on. Let's showcase what we have. Let's, practice it a couple times and go through it. I didn't get that feeling. So that was one of my biggest complaints. Content, we'll get into, but from the presentation, and it almost felt to me like you could see almost annoyance in some of the devs and Adam and the other guys. And, I'm not speaking for them. I don't know if that's how they really felt, but it felt like at times they were like, Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? So it just I don't know.
Dude, why does this keep happening? Sorry.
Your Chrome crashing again?
Yes. What is happening? But yeah, I mean, I agree with that as well. I just, yeah, so I think another thing that really stuck out to me was, you know, again, I don't have anything against Rod. I think there's a time and a place, and he's the head honcho. So like, I guess I feel like he should know more than anyone. When he made the, like, it didn't offend me, but like when he made the Malignant tunnel joke that he made, comparing it to like a colonoscopy, like that is just, I mean, like, that's fine. Like, it's funny if it's just the boys. You and I are doing a podcast about
that's
it.
what I'm talking about, the professional stuff. Dude, like, that was totally like what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
Not a good look.
Yeah, that was one where I was instantly like, oh man, he's like, you're gonna look back at that and be like, right? I screwed up. I screwed up big on that one. So
weird. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah.
Let's hit the juice. Let's talk about what they actually announced.
You know, obviously the way that they announced it, we would prefer they just left the Immortal stuff out, obviously, but season Malignant, right? So it's coming up so quick. Like, it's just crazy.
I know.
It comes up literally next Thursday, which
let's talk about that.
Yeah.
The launch date and time
is the hell?
Absolutely horrible.
Right.
Like, why? Like, okay, so if it were on a Friday, maybe I'd take off work, right? I'm like, okay, let me take off work and just blast the season when it drops. You're dropping it on a Thursday. So it's like, what, am I going to take Thursday and Friday off now? Like, but if I'm not going to blast Friday, why am I taking off to blast Thursday? And then you're going to do it in the middle of the early afternoon. Everybody's still at work.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I get that some people work Friday nights and on the weekends and you can't satisfy everybody, but I would think that the majority of your player base works Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Like, there's a huge portion that's Monday through Friday.
Of course.
8 to 5, right? And it's like, so you started Diablo 3 seasons on Friday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern or 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So let's just say for a D3 season launch, you live on the West Coast. Okay, you cut out a work an hour early. You're like, hey, boss, I got this thing Friday night. Can I get out of here an hour early? Whatever. Because it's like once every 3 months, right? You can probably pull that off. Central, Mountain Time, East Coast, you're all good. And they staggered the Europe and US launches for that to make it kind of feasible for everybody to blast. Thursdays at 11.
So weird. It's so weird. And it's like you said, like, to drive home part of your point, like, they have all this data of like years of Diablo 3 season starts, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock on a Friday. Like, it works. Why are we all of a sudden going to a Thursday? Is it some like maybe big brain play where it's like, well, if they get to watch streamers play it first, like while they're at work, it's gonna generate more hype? I don't really know. Like, obviously, I don't have all the insights.
Streamers are such a small population of the total player base. Like, I don't like. Why would you ever cater to that audience?
Right.
It's really weird to me. I don't understand the launch date. The only thing I can think of is that if they I'm assuming it's a global launch. Does it say in that fine text right there? I can't quite read that.
Yeah.
So if it's a global launch, then that would, if Thursday for us might be Friday in the other side of the world, right? So maybe they're trying to hit that and do it during normal work hours for employees so they don't have to work. I'm assuming they're still going to be on call anyways, but let's just say something bad goes down. Their best guys can still be in the office ready to go.
I guess.
That's the only thing I can think of that justifies the time at all and launch date is just so their best and brightest aren't like, I'm not working on a Saturday, So, but if that's the case, I'd still be like, yes, you are. You're working on a Saturday.
All right.
Like we all have to work. Like, I get a call every now and then on the weekend. You got to take it, So
it's definitely weird. Like a Thursday. And like, there's no part of me that's, I took a week off for Diablo already. I'm not taking a Friday off. I'm not taking, and you said, like, I like, Path of Exile. It's like, I think it's like 3 p.m. our time, Like, yeah, I can roll out a little early.
You can do 2 hours.
Right, yeah, that's cool. I'm good with that.
And especially if it's only once every 3 months or once every 4 months, right?
Right.
You can make, I mean, once every 3 months, you could be like, hey, I got a doctor's appointment Friday. I got to go to the dentist on Friday. Hey, my kid called me sick from school. Got to go pick him up. Like, there's a million excuses if you're only doing it 3 times a year to miss 2 hours of work.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. So, and you and I haven't even talked about this. We talked after the last pod. We hung out and talked a little bit. And we were like, yo, we're going to blast the new season. I'm like, yeah, I mean, as long as it doesn't suck, blah, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm going to blast the new season right at launch now. It's like, I don't know if I'm going to take off work to blast the season.
I refuse to take off any more days for...
So it's like, I guess I'll just log in that evening and play when I can.
And that's going to be weird too, right?
That feels bad.
To
like
not
it's not
go for 24 hours.
There's a hype. There's this hype thing with the D3 season launch that they totally missed with this launch date. And like the D3 season launch is like, we're sitting there, we got our party, we're watching the screen, the season goes live, and then it's like, boom, it's a race. It literally feels like you're at a race and somebody shot the flare in the air to say go, right? And now it's going to be like, well, I'm going to start the season 8 hours later than everybody else, right? So does that kill the hype? Absolutely, it does. And even if it's not a race, like, you know, leaderboards like we were doing or whatever, I don't know, man. There is something missing with that hype creation. So disappointed.
Agreed. And then, you know, they touched on the battle pass a bit. I think this shows like what the Calderon armor set is.
Calderons
is what's coming. It looks fine. Looks pretty cool.
I'm actually looking for that. That's a cool picture. I don't have that one.
Yeah. And then
check them out.
They show you what you get with each of the battle pass tiers. They talk about the free battle pass, the premium battle pass, and the accelerated battle pass, which is, you know, whatever. Fine.
Yeah.
The only thing that matters is the free tier because you get these like smoldering ashes, which I guess do give experience and stuff like that. So like they're good. But there's none of that shit in the premium shit. So that's good.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right. And then they sort of go into each part. And so the season of Malignant, so basically the TLDR is this dude, right? And he is, I don't know, he's like the guy that's trying to cure it. I don't really know what his story is. I'm obviously not a big lore person. But you're going to go out in the world and you're going to sort of find these malignant enchanted monsters.
So they did talk about this, and I think this is kind of cool if it works the way that I'm envisioning it in my head. So let's say you and I, we finished the main campaign. We've done all the renowned stuff. We've done all the things, right? So we're going to log in on Thursday and make our seasonal character.
Yeah.
And then when we roll our seasonal character, it's going to start us in PChild, and this guy's going to be there with a quest to start like a new seasonal campaign.
Right.
That to me is cool. Like, okay. That's kind of cool. There's a new storyline. I'm not a huge lore guy. I'm not a huge story guy.
Yeah.
But that's something that I wasn't expecting. I kind of just expected to make a new tune and have the same bland campaign all over again. If there is actual decent amounts of story here, then that could actually be like a plus, I feel. I don't think it's going to probably be the optimal way to level. The optimal way is going to be just blast dungeons and want to poke your eyes out, but
I'm not really expecting it to be more than like one quest. I'm not expecting it
really.
To be some,
you
like,
think it's gonna? You think it's gonna be over in like 20 minutes? You're done?
Max, yeah. I think 20 minutes is even generous. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's not what I expected.
I don't
but
expect
maybe
like
my expectations are too high.
Like that.
I thought there was. I thought he'd be in town, and my guess he's gonna be like, oh hey, I need help with this thing.
Kill this dungeon.
And then you go run there, and it's gonna be like, oh, this world's corrupted. Kill these things. Okay, now go back to town and talk to me. Okay, now I'll go to the Malignant tunnel and kill this thing. And then I feel like he's gonna jerk you around for a good hour or two before you're finished. I hope that, you know, if it's like 20-minute quest line, then I don't know.
I guess it depends on like, okay, well, maybe the dungeon he wants to go to is like in a different zone that's like 20 levels above you, so you have to like maybe level up a bit before you can move that on, and that maybe adds time to it, but that's sort of like, you know, fake padding.
That'd be kind of lame,
right?
Too, though.
But I would think 10-minute, 20-minute quest tops.
Okay, we'll see.
This is my guess. But yeah, and so basically, you're gonna finish the quest. He's gonna give you a little something that basically enables you to get these malignant heart drops. And so what happens is you're gonna go out in the world and you're gonna fight elites that are sort of like malignant enchanted or whatever, and they're gonna drop hearts. And the hearts are, the best way I can describe it is someone made this meme post on the Reddit. I was like, so excited for season 1. How did they come up with this? And they posted
how did they get this idea
of every legendary gem from Diablo 3. And
my
there is
goodness,
a very,
man.
very strong resemblance. We have here a video from Rob where someone like did a pixel by pixel frame breakdown of some of these malignant hearts. So we wanted to showcase that power really quick. But the one they really showed, actually, do I even have that one? Let me just pull that one up real quick, because this is the hidden one. So malignant heart in an image. I think, yeah, it's the first one. So the first one they showcased, the one that was very clear in the video, was the vicious heart. Critical strikes electrically charge the enemy for 2.89 seconds. I assume that's a variable value because it's in blue, causing lightning to arc between them and any other charged enemies, dealing flat damage, which is also a variable. Which actually sounds pretty cool. It does sound like the lightning storm gem. Like
if it does, if the lightning storm gem, I think is one of the coolest unused gems in the history of Diablo 3.
Yeah, true.
I always thought if they would have found a way to buff the lightning storm gem to where you're in a party that you just throw it on, right? If you're in a group and your whole group threw that bad boy on, and then boom, it was just wrecking. That would have been awesome.
And then the one that was sort of pixel by pixel evaluated from the video was one that was it's like a bonus. So it's like a round robin COE style. So every 20 kills it rotates. So stage 1 it gets vicious, which is 22% attack speed. You get 20 more kills, it turns to devious. And so core and basic skills have 17% chance to fully restore your primary resource.
Okay.
And then brutal, every 19 seconds gain a barrier absorbing 88 damage. Now the reason I was sort of interesting in what Rob brings up in this video is since it's based on kills, like say you were to go fight Lilith, it'd be like you could lock yourself to like say devious to get that chance to restore a resource, and you're not going to get kills in that fight, obviously, unless you kill the ads, and that's not going to be 20 kills probably. So you could lock yourself to the really good power, and that would be pretty strong. And
I'm sure it'll work that way out of the gate, and then they'll Blizzard will be like, oh, this is not as intended, let's change it.
Right.
And as soon as you enter a zone, it resets. So
yeah. And then a sort of extra thing was like a teeny tiny shadow frame by frame breakdown. Someone captured this, which is just crazy. But it says after spending 68 fury within 2 seconds, your next non-basic skills critical strike chances increase by 34%.
A lot of percent.
That is a big percentage of crit. So those are some sneak peeks. They said they have 32 of these malignant hearts, and jewelry will sort of like be locked to malignant heart colors. That part was like not entirely clear to me.
You have, so from what Rob was asking on the things, and he kept referring that the colors have names that the devs were using, but Rob
blue, red,
kept
yellow.
breaking it down to blue, red, yellow, right? And they seemed, it looked like they were annoyed when he was doing that. But the ring will randomly roll a color when it drops. If it rolls a socket, any socket will randomly roll a color.
Yeah.
So I guess if you get a really nice ring and it rolls the wrong color, you're effed. You just got to get a really nice ring again.
Yeah. Which already seems, rings are probably the hardest thing to roll.
Yeah.
Period.
Super hard.
Yeah. So.
And then you got to get the color you want. And I would find a way to make that re-rollable, even if it's expensive. Like find a way to make it fixable. I don't know.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks that, and part of me is like, well, RNG is why you play the game too. So I don't know, man.
You can break down hearts as well. So you can break them down to get, I think, like, I don't know, like heart dust, basically.
Yeah.
And then you can like sort of chance at crafting another one.
You can craft the hearts. Yeah. You can't craft the sockets again, but you can craft the hearts.
Right. So there's that. So hopefully hopefully, with that being said, right, like that you can't control the color, but say you get like, you know, your most builds in Diablo 4, you probably want vulnerable, crit damage, crit strike chance, and lucky, probably.
Yep.
And you know, you hit one of those, that 4 quadfecta, like that's, which is already hard to do, right?
Yeah.
And you hit it, and it's like, okay, it's blue. Well, hopefully, at the very least, there's blue, yellow, and red gems that are beneficial to your build, like regardless. But there's just not enough. Like 32 powers, you know?
No, it's like So let's you know of these. Whatever they said, 32.
Yeah.
Just look at the legendary gems from Diablo 3. That's the history right there.
Yeah, true.
What gems did we always have to use? Bane of the Trapped.
Yeah. Eyes if you're ranged.
Yeah. And Taeguk if you're channeling.
Yeah.
Right.
So
it's like every build is gonna have a stricken for, yeah, we both say stricken. You know, if you're doing pushing, if you're not pushing, you're using powerful. Yeah. So maybe there's gonna be some plays, but ultimately there's gonna be the meta gems that you need. Yeah. And if they're just specific colors, then good luck on that RNG on those rings, baby. You know?
Yeah. So that's interesting though. I mean, here's the thing. I don't want to shit on this because I'm happy on the one hand that, you know, obviously this isn't double goblins, thank God. Obviously that rumor that I heard, it's like where season 1 was like reroll, you know, a stat on uniques. Like thank fucking God that wasn't false. True, right?
I actually did hear rumors that it was Season of Gems, is what I heard. That wasn't through like any official. That was just like, oh, I think, and I can kind of see the correlation.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, of how they got that. So I'm like, okay. I didn't think that would be it, but okay.
Yeah, and so there's these 32 new Malignant Hearts. You can farm the malignant tunnels, or as you know, Rob Ferguson would call them, like colonoscopies. And you get a higher chance of finding them and getting the colors you want and all that stuff based on fights in there. And there is a new boss in the tunnels, Varshan the Consumed.
Okay.
Which sounds poggies. I like boss battles.
Yeah, boss battles are cool.
But it does sound like Malignant Tunnels are something you're gonna farm. So I hope it's not some like we have bosses in the game right now.
How do we get to the Malignant Tunnels? Do you remember that part? I can't remember where we find them.
I think it's like gonna be like World Tree events. So like a dungeon will turn into a Malignant Tunnel.
Gotcha. Yeah,
is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, that seems like a logical thing. I don't think we're going to get new zones. It's going to be recycled dungeons with new skins would be my guess.
Right. But my fear with this boss is that it's just literally a dungeon boss. Like, because the dungeon bosses are like, whatever. Like, you just go in there, you one-shot them. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Well, your power level will probably get there at some point either way, right?
Yeah.
You know, once you hit World Tier 4.
But I want it to be like...
And you're juicing.
A pinnacle boss, like Lilith. I want it to be like... There should be, hopefully there's, you know, Varshan the Consume, which is like the new dungeon boss, but there is a Uber Varshan the Consume where, you know, hopefully
Varshan's daddy pops out.
You know, they'll do a pinnacle boss where it's got special loot and it's going to be super challenging, but who knows with Blizz. But my big concern with all of this, big concern is, you know, in the live stream, they touched on like, well, yeah, like this is a seasonal theme. If you didn't play Diablo 3, basically seasonal themes are these like temporary things that happen once every 3 months. And then when they're over, they're over.
Yeah.
And to me, I get that Blizzard doesn't want to bloat the game. They don't want to have a Path of Exile on their hand where there's like 20 league mechanics and it's super confusing for new players. But I think at the very least, like the first like 4 seasons of Diablo 4 should probably be stuff that like they're going to roll over because there's just nothing in the game right now. So I hate that this is sort of disappearing.
That depends to me. I agree with you for the base game. I think a lot of people don't understand how seasons are fun, and I get that. I was in that same boat before I played one. I think once the majority of the player base experiences the season, then they're going to forget about what Blizzard calls the Eternal Realm. Is that what they call it, the Eternal Realm?
Yeah.
They're going to forget about their Eternal Realm characters, and they're going to say, okay, season. So if season 2 has content that's good, right? then okay, then fine, right? It's okay we lost season 1 content because season 2 content is good. Who cares about Eternal?
Okay, but if we look at the game as a whole still, like, so there's these tunnels now, which are, I think, just going to be like World Tree dungeons, right? That's not enough. That's not enough new stuff to really like. No. And then we go into the next season and say like it's there's a fire themed dungeon and it's got special armor modifications or whatever, something like really basic like this, right? And that doesn't roll over. And so like we've got this like same base game season after season where it's just like, man, it's like a Diablo 3 where it's like, well, it's GRs. You're never getting new content. You're getting themes that sort of change up the way you play, but like you're doing the same shit season after season. And I think that's a misplay. I think that they should design the first 4 to 8 leagues with the idea in mind that these will be permanent additions to the game. I don't think they should add temporary content in this stage of the game. I think this should be like unveiling stuff to add to the base game because there's just nothing in the base game.
I agree. Yeah. Again, the content they add in season 2 can dictate my feelings on that. Okay. But you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong that they need more content. Yeah. And even though I personally don't see this as a great endgame mechanic either.
I 100% agree with that.
This is a very poor endgame mechanic.
Yeah.
That will not, I promise you, it will not have lasting appeal to keep you wanting to play the game.
Right.
But if it carried over and then season 2 gets another one of these, see, the thing is if you stack multiple little crappy endgame mechanics in together, it doesn't give you a good endgame still. It just gives you like, I have these, it becomes tedious almost. Like so season 2 is going to hit and it's going to have its new mechanic and you're going to say, man, all season I farm these malignant things, but they're still in the game for season 2. I still have to go farm them for my season 2 character, and I've done it a million times and I'm bored with it. And the example I'm going to relate back to is in Diablo 3 when they added the Uber boss fights where you fought 2 to 3 bosses at a time, right?
Yeah. Okay.
It was cool for the first day or two, right? But then in the future, when Hellfire amulets were relevant for your class build, even in a season, you had to go farm the keys to open the portals, to get the things, to craft the necklaces, to put it on, right? Did you ever log into D3 and go, man, that's good endgame?
I mean, here's the thing with this is that was it, right? So there was like GRs, Uber bosses to farm the components for like maybe you need a Hellfire amulet, right? And that was it. Like there wasn't like the way I'm going to compare this, right? Is say obviously Path of Exile, like Abyss first came out, and yeah, like for the leagues following Abyss, you're sort of like, okay, I'm a little over Abyss at this point, but I need to get a Stig game bias. Like it's absolutely mandatory. I get a Stig game bias. So I got to farm just enough Abyss so that I get my Stig game bias. But now if you just sort of look at the way that Path of Exile is sort of bloated, which I think I'm in the camp, obviously I'm a PoE enjoyer, but I'm in the camp that I don't think there is such a thing as game bloat. But like, now you sort of map your entire league start around like, okay, well, I want to like this last league I played an Elemental Venom Gyre. And so like I need like Delirium orb. Like, so I need more maps that contain Delirium. So I sort of spec my act list to like, I want to farm more Delirium and I sort of maybe ignore the other stuff and focus on Delirium or, so it'd be nice if like, yes, 12 seasons from now, like this is still a mechanic and it's like, oh, I had to knock out my Malignant because there's like a ring thing that I need. I have to absolutely I have to farm that at some point. I got to get my ring of Malignant. And like, right now it's going to suck. Maybe the next 3 seasons it's going to suck because you're like, fuck, man, I'm still doing Malignant tunnels. But I think like if we keep expanding on the game, and it's like, it's actual content. It's like stuff that you sort of plan around and how you plan your season start. And I don't know. I don't, again, I'm with you in the sense that like, I don't love this theme in general. It is legendary gems from Diablo 3. And like, that's not necessarily the most exciting thing in the world, but it's something. And
yeah,
I don't know. Dude.
I'm with you. I guess, yeah. Part of my disappointment is that it just feels like we're farming legendary gems, and this to me is like legendary gems mixed with the Hellfire amulet.
Yeah,
it's kind of how I feel about it. it's like, oh, they're putting tunnels in where we farm these bosses to craft a thing. Well, we farm bosses in D3 to craft a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get the thing you need. Okay, go farm more bosses or farm more drops. So I just don't think it's an end game mechanic that can carry. And if it's in future seasons, doesn't sound that great. It could be fun. I mean, we haven't played it, right? So it could be they've implemented it in a way that it makes a lot of sense to keep as a core mechanic. Is this temporary power that they're adding going to be too powerful for the game permanently as well, combined with other seasons? That's fine. Then you can pull back on the power a little bit, even. Like, you don't have to leave the hearts in the same state they are when the event's over. Just say they're just rename them if you want to have a lore reason. Like, oh, they're whatever. I don't know.
But to throw it back to Diablo 3, like, it's bounties, normal risks, creator risks, and at one point in the history, it was Uber bosses.
Yeah.
Before that sort of kind of got phased out. And like, imagine there was like 8 more things. And so to me, it was almost like a nice breath of fresh air where you're like, all you're doing is farming GRs and you're like, shit, I need a Hellfire. And so like, maybe you do like 10 Hellfire crafts or something like that. And it sort of breaks up the monotony. And so imagine you had like 15 different things to do.
I do agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah.
So yeah,
it does break the monotony up. Bounties did the same thing. There's a difference though. Hellfire amulets to me weren't as tedious as bounties.
Oh, I would say the other way around.
I hated bounties so much. Absolutely hated bounties. It's like I got my royal ring and I'm done. Like, I was done. I absolutely hated doing bounties.
But to even get the keys to the fights of the Ubers, you're basically running a bounty because you had to go after that one guy in that one zone.
Man, the bounties just suck. Like, they suck so bad. Like, even to this day, there's like I kind of do, like, D3 has a thing where it's like, if a new D3 season were to drop, I think I'd still be kind of hyped for it, to be honest. I think I would still be like, D3 season weekend is fun as hell. It just is. I don't know why, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday of grinding that season, it's a good time. And I would do that. If it, like, when the next season drops, I'm probably going to do that. Okay. But I'm not going to grind those bounties though. Yeah. That's for sure. Like, I don't know. It just sounds horrible.
Yeah.
What about you? You wouldn't play a D3 season launch?
It's hard to see a world. I think that if I do, it's sort of a failure of Diablo 4.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
But I'm one of those guys. Like, I don't like to go back. Like, Halo 5 comes out. There's no universe where I go back and play Halo 4. Even if I enjoyed it more or whatever. It's just like Halo Infinite's out. I'm not gonna go. Halo 5 I liked way more than Infinite.
I understand.
I'm not gonna go back.
Get your viewpoint because I feel the same on a lot of stuff too. It's like, why would I play that when there's a new one out? But I've also been about having a good time. And I will say that for all the shit that Diablo 3 did wrong, the season launches were something they did right. Yeah. Like, they actually nailed it. I will say towards the end. I'm going to say towards the end. They actually nailed it towards the end. And specifically the last season where they added in the extra little talent tree. I forget what the system's called already. Whatever that was actually a lot of fun. This was by far the best season they've ever done.
Okay.
But I agree with your point that it does mean that Diablo 4 failed a little bit. We'll see how this season launch goes. I don't see a world with this starting on Thursday evening or Thursday morning at what time is it for us? I don't even remember. It's like 11 in the morning.
Yeah, it's 11 or something crazy.
Something weird. So, I don't see a point where it's like, I'm excited about a Thursday. Here it is. 10 a.m. So noon. It drops at noon for us in Central Time. 1 p.m. on the East Coast. I don't see a world where I'm like, yo, man, I'm excited to, like, I'm going to take off 2 days of work for this season launch. I'm not going to burn 2 days vacation. And that in itself kills the hype so much for me. Like, it's crazy.
I agree. To break up, I think that's the biggest thing, to break up your season start. Like, I'm going to start on like 5 p.m. on Thursday and then like go to bed at 2 a.m. and then like, I hate that. Like, I want to go 24 hours, you know, like I'm used to,
Yeah.
and have like
that kills it for me. Like that drains the hype
does.
so much, so much.
Yeah.
And that was one of the first things I saw. As soon as I saw the date, I was like
what?
Like I was like,
I just assumed it was a Friday until I was like looking at my calendar. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, even if it was 10 a.m. on Friday, maybe okay, like maybe I take off, but I like, what's the point of doing the Thursday when I have to work again on Friday?
Yeah.
Like, I can't burn 2 days of vacation every season start. That's crazy. And like, no, like who can honestly afford to take? If you're not a streamer,
Yeah,
or unemployed, like what are you?
That's literally
doing?
8 days a year you have to give to Diablo.
Fuck like you're giving, you know, over a week's worth of vacation. The season launches. So that's pretty nutty. I hope that this is just like a one-time deal to, like, you know, they're scared about server capacity and they're doing it to reduce because they know that would reduce server capacity. I don't know. I hope this is like
or it could have something to do with something we're going to talk about in a minute, but we'll see.
Okay.
Another point I want to make here that I almost forgot. So like we get this new boss fight, right? Varshan the Consumed. Which obviously I think any boss in the game of Diablo 4 I think could be turned into a pinnacle boss. I think that there's enough mechanics. Maybe they need to clean up some telegraphs or whatever, but I think that this right here shows like the sort of error in Blizzard's thinking of what they've devoted this work into in this season. Because let's just assume Malignant Hearts don't roll over. These tunnels don't roll over. Varshan can consume, who is the boss of these malignant monsters and malignant tunnels, he doesn't roll over. So you've essentially wasted every minute of this development time on content that will never be touched again. Like, why would you even design a boss fight? Like, PoE has never done this. Every single pinnacle boss that gets added to the PoE stays in PoE. And it's like, oh my fucking God. Why does this keep happening? Anyway, sorry.
They could also maybe carry those over. I mean, they didn't. I think they did say no. They don't plan on carrying the stuff over, right? But I don't think they hard was like no way. So hopefully you're right. Maybe it returns in a later season. But to me, I 100% agree with them throwing away dev time. You've spent how much dev time making this season, making the theme, coding all this shit. Art time for designing this shit. Like, just think about, like, from sound design, everything, like every single thing for a 3-month period of time, and then you're throwing it away. No, use it. Why? Keep it, leave it in, you know. And it's gonna become a world of recycle, like you know, like Diablo 3 is like, oh, we had this asset in the game, let's use it. Like, you know, leave it in there, put it in for some.
So that, I think that is a key takeaway. That they're like, well, okay. And then so this is the one thing I was sort of talking about or alluding to earlier. So they've done this thing where they've sort of gone back on what they thought people would want, or what they had in mind for the game. Like, so they just expected you originally to just sort of restart, and you'd have to like rediscover the map. You'd have to redo Renown, other than the Lilith statues. And now they're making it so they want you on July 18th to log into like your most juiced up character that has like all the map waypoints and all the Lilith statues and all the whatever, and log into that character so that when your seasonal character starts, they basically copy that character's map and all that juice or whatever, and the renown that you get from those activities will be unlocked immediately, which is like whatever, but it does seem like a really weird way to do it. Like,
because they didn't design it from the ground up to work that way. It was just oversight, and I think it shows like a lack of it just shows a disconnect between the player base. Like, how would you not think that we want to do all those activities again? The thing is like, I know that the beta's been around for 9 months. I know they got feedback. I know that people, I specifically know people that have given feedback, and they've shown me their feedback. It's like, it wasn't designed to track that on an account level. Like, it wasn't designed to track your map on an account level. Oh, I've been to this zone. So they added it. They quickly added it for the season, which is cool. Hats off to them for getting that feedback and going, okay, what can we do about it?
Right.
Yeah, but the fix to that is to have those characters. And I'm going to give it an example. I have a member of my community that I was playing D4 with, who got fed up with the game and deleted his characters in a fit of rage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would you do that?
Right.
Like, you already know, don't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they did. They were like, I'm done with the game. I deleted my characters, right? And then with the mentality, I believe, was that I'm just going to wait till season 1 drops, and then I'll pick the game back up.
Yeah.
Now, they did all the renown. They unlocked the Lilith statues. They explored the map. All that's gone.
Yeah. And it's the same thing with like hardcore characters. Like if they made it to 98, but that character died, well, they only get the best juice of their newest, highest character because that character's dead. It's no longer on their account, which to me is wild. Like, I think there's two parts of this. This is the problem. Like, I'm thinking about this from a sheer programming perspective. Like, obviously, you know, there's the renowned system, and you can see in the renowned system, okay, like 13 of 24 altar Lilith statues gathered. That's a stat in the game that you can see built into the UI. So obviously they track that. Yeah. Why were you requiring, as a game company, as a AAA game company, the user has to manage this, and like the user has to pick their character to log in as, so that character stuff gets copy pasted? Like, why can't you just scrape the data and not have users do anything? Because there's gonna be so many people that, like, they're not on Twitch, they don't follow the Diablo 4 news, and they're gonna log in with a brand new seasonal character. They don't even know that they should log in on July 28th or July 18th to like pick their best character so it's ready for the season start. There's gonna be so many people that don't even know that's a thing. So why are you putting any power in the player's hands? Like, just do it. Like, you've got everything you need to do it for them.
My assumption also is that we can log into any characters and get credit if we did it on any character. That maybe is a horrible assumption. What if it's like,
no, it has to be I
log on my shitty character first. Right. Is that what I get? I think for the way I took it from their statement was that they said, once you do it on a character, it's unlocked on your account. So they want you to log on your juiciest character to just get credit for all the achievements. But I think if you've done it on any character, it will also progress forward. I hope that's the play, because what if somebody logs on their shitty character first, right, and then they're like, oh no, you needed to log. Like, there's no way. Like, there's no way.
Right.
If they did it like that, then
like maybe it'll override if you log into the juicy guy. I would hope so too, but at the same time, like, that's still a really dumb system. You have everything you need. You can scrape somebody's account and be like, okay, he's got 5 characters. Character 1 has, 40% renown in this zone. Character 2 has like 10%. Well, yeah, let's copy character 1 because he's got 40% versus the 10%. Like, it programmatically, this is like, what are we doing? Like, why are we requiring the user to do anything? But it is what it is. It's the same thing with like porting to the start of Nightmare Dungeons versus like porting directly inside. It's like, obviously you're clicking the key and that sort of tells you on the map where to go. So like, why? I mean, there's just things that I don't understand, but as a programmer, I'm like, why? So yeah, these things sort of feel like Band-Aids, and it's like, that's also scary because like Band-Aids can cause like more problems in the future than they're worth.
Yeah. Well, that data is stored in this SQL database, right, and the other database is stored over here.
So we're going to write this like microservice that does this one thing. Right?
They can't communicate. So we don't, I don't know. Who knows, then, man?
15 years from now, a guy like Frank has to look at this code database and is like, what the fuck are they thinking doing this? And he has to try to fix all this shit, this bad code.
Add power without lag. Oh my God. So
crazy.
It is kind of nutty.
But moving on. So like, yes, again, to reiterate, July 18th, guys, logged in with your most powerful character, and we're just going to assume most powerful character first. Like, don't even risk it. Like, just don't. We don't know for sure. But they have showcased this other thing, and I don't have a screenshot of it here, but it's the seasonal journey, and I don't think that they even show a good screenshot. I guess this kind of. So it's basically like the Hadrig's like the season journey from Diablo 3. Like you do certain things and it unlocks certain rewards. So like this one says, collect a Malignant heart, available after completing or skipping the campaign. And if you unlock these 4 things, you get the stuff that's here on the bottom left. And it looks like, like maybe legendary power or, oh my God, dude, what is fucking happening with my Chrome? It's like the special whatever on the bottom left, which is interesting, I guess. I think that their plan is to sort of maybe put some of the more rare aspects sort of here in the bottom. Yeah,
those rare aspects, do you remember if you get those permanently in your
codex? I don't know.
Like in their codex, or if it's a one-time dealio?
I feel like it'd be a one-time dealio, but I think that makes more sense to me. I think permanently adding stuff to the codex is cringe, but
yeah.
But that's just my opinion. There's that, and then there's also these like what are they called? Smoldering aspects they talk about. And you can sort of spend these smoldering aspects on, I think, like, 5 different things. See if I can find something real quick. Oh my gosh. Never mind. I'm getting so many issues with my Chrome right now. I'm going to have to figure this out after the stream. But there's 5 different things. I can't enlarge this image. But it's like stuff like you can unlock more gold when you sell things, like
I remember that.
More sold to the merchant for more crafting materials when you break something down, or
more XP. I think was one of them, right? Basic XP.
More Malignant juice, and then I can't read what the last one is because my eyes aren't good enough. Can I zoom? Maybe computer enhance. Yes, I can. Here we go. No, computer, stop. I was joking. Stop. Computer. Stop. Jesus. Or boost the duration of elixirs. Boost the chance of rare materials from salvage. Boost the amount of gold earned from selling. Boost to XP from monster kills.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be the one, right?
Yeah. And then boost to the chance of powerful Malignant heart drops.
Yeah, so it's like get XP first, get Malignant second. Then it's like whatever you want because it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But there's that, and then they showcase the battle pass and the seasonal stuff. There's the free tier, and then there's the look like cooler, I guess, whatever.
What did you think about the cosmetics?
Meh. I'm good with them being meh. Like I don't want to feel like I have to have it. I think I'm a little disappointed because like season 1 is the one we get for free because we have like the premium edition of the game. So we're gonna get all these, which is good.
About that,
okay.
There was a thread that I saw. I don't know. I can't remember if somebody linked it to me on Discord or I don't know. Somewhere I saw this. I don't remember where I saw it. Adam said, and the post was months back, but Adam said something to the effect of, with the Ultimate Edition, you get to unlock the battle pass in season 1 or a season of your choosing.
Oh.
So potentially, now I don't know, this was months back, so maybe it was just a thing, but potentially maybe we don't have to use it on season 1. So if you're not super hyped for your premium tracked rewards, maybe we can save it. I don't know. That's something to keep an eye on as we get closer to the season. If there's clarification already been posted on that, I don't know. But maybe we could save it for season 2. Like, oh man, these transmogs are just let's save it for season 2.
Maybe
that could be a thing. I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, also be kind of curious. I guess you would know just from the free tier, like how the shop or the battle pass is gonna work. But I am curious how it's gonna work and how fast it is and all that stuff. And the powder stuff, I don't know. I wasn't really expecting that. It is sort of like, it sort of reminds me, this powder stuff reminds me of the 4th section of the Paragon board from Diablo 3. Where it's just like something you get sort of along the way, but you don't really care about, like the gold find and then like area damage or something like, stuff that wasn't crazy significant. But yeah, it sort of feels just like that to me. But anyways, I think that's all I had for the season of the Malignant, unless you have anything else.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, quick recap of my overall thoughts. I was expecting I was expecting a pretty poor season. I think it beat the expectations I had. I had people say that not to get excited for this season, and it wasn't a lot, right? That's kind of the rumor. This rumors that I heard were, don't get your hopes up. It's pretty bad, from several sources. It kind of set my bar pretty low, and I think it kind of exceeded where my bar was. I don't think that this season is going to make me grind the game any more than I did when it dropped, which wasn't very much. I think it's something to add, and they're already working on season 2. If they take this season away, season 2's got to kill it. Like, they got to have something crazy better than this in order to really salvage the end game. Game needs end game. The game's okay. Like, I have a lot of problems with the game. Like, I could write a list for hours, but all in all, the shell of the game is there. The shell is good enough that the game could be good. I could see the game being something that's really fun and really enjoyable, but it's not there to me. And they need end game, man. They need end game like crazy. I just don't have a desire to play. I don't have a reason to play. Like, your reasoning is you want to make builds. Yeah. Okay, I get that. That's cool. I don't care about that specifically, that aspect. It was fun in D3. I think the punishing nature of the respec and the alt characters, an example would be like, okay, so I can't respec this character. I don't want to break all my stuff. I don't even have the inventory space to save the gear. Let me make a second sorceress to put my stuff on. At least I'm going to make a fire build on that one. Let me save all my fire stuff. I'll throw it in the stash. I can pick it up on her, go through it later, sort it out. But then I realize I have to level it to 100, and I have to get its paragon, get the paragon points, get to 100. I gotta, like, there's just so much extra work that's put into an alt character. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. But then at the same time, that deters me from wanting to explore other builds and try new things. So
it is tough. I will say, like, from a aspect system, it is tough to be like, what, I want to try this barrier thing for like a couple dungeons, like the 25% barrier damage versus maybe like the 20% chance based on the resource pool. Like, which one's gonna feel like more damage? Which one's gonna hit for more damage? There's no dudes in town. There's no totems. Like, there's no stuff that you can just whack on and know instantly. Like, you sort of have to feel it out. And like you said, like, if I put on the barrier, I'm overriding my aspect. I better have some backups on hand, and like, I can't.
And they got to be good backups
and they got to be good backup. Like that.
And then you got to have the storage to save the backups. So it's just like, it's just. But
yeah, it's tough.
It's not fun, right? Yeah, and it's a cascading effect because it stacks on itself. This is something that we've talked about. And I feel like Division did a system very, very similar to the aspect. The only difference was that once you extracted the aspect, it kept that version permanently in your codex. So you could rewrite it. So, as an example, let's say I got Frost Shards penetrate 4 times and do, whatever, 40% more damage. The base one's 20% damage, 25% damage. I overwrite that with a 33% damage. Now every time I go to imprint, I can imprint 33% damage.
Oh, it's too strong.
And I know you said you didn't like that because it made feel like getting that aspect felt good. And I agree with you on that. But I also agree that respecking is feasible if you have that kind of aspect system. If you have it to where it updates the codex, you can go respec and try new things and go, well, I can always go back to what I had. Like, you don't have to move forward or progress forward necessarily, but going back to what you've already earned, to me, is kind of like I don't know. I think in a game that tries to cater to casuals, it's really weird that they're so punishing on the respecking aspect of the game.
Yeah.
Because everything else is super casual. Their crafting system is non-existent. Like, it's like the basic of basics. itemization, super basic. There's nothing in the game that's really screams like I'm a really complex,
and I don't
complicated game.
Like what the solution. I don't want it to be like you suggest. Like I don't want it to be like, oh, once I have that forever. I think that's way too strong. I don't know that if the solution is just like maybe don't have some things be so rare. Like there's obviously things that just drop all the time, and there are aspects that you don't really want, and then there's aspects that like rarely ever drop, and those are the ones you have to like really like sort of take a chance on. And I like that, but yeah, it is hard to test stuff when you're so locked to. I mean, but on the other hand, it's like, well, if they're your best powers, you're probably putting on your weapon, and you're probably putting on your amulet, the stuff that goes in your rings or the stuff that goes in your gloves and boots or whatever, like is stuff that can probably be played with, but at the same time, it does still suck. It sucks to like, well, I've only got one backup for that, so I'm going to try this other thing, and I can roll back once, but I want to be able to play, like go back and forth and like really like in every scenario, right? Like I want to run 10 dungeons with this way and 10 dungeons with that way, so I can really be like definitively, I feel like this is a better choice, and that is just not an option.
Absolutely. And there's like, so even if you're following somebody's build guide, right? Let's say somebody's like, man, I'm playing Necro, I'm gonna go look up Fluff's Necro guide, blah blah blah, and they're looking at your Necro guide and they're like, I like that, but like, what if I did this?
Yeah.
Right. Like I like what he did this, but I want to try this. Like you can try it, but at the cost of what? You know what I mean? Like, oh, this doesn't work. Crap. Now I have to go back and I lost my stuff and got to find new gear. Or you're like, I have this God roll ring and I have this power on it and it's amazing. And I got a new ring that's like half the stats of this, and I'm going to try this new power, but now I can't really see if they're equal because this ring's so much better. It's like, is it better? Is this, I don't know. It's just the respecking system's super punishing. And it makes me not want to try different specs on a character, but just roll a whole new character class. In all honesty, I was like, okay, Sorcerer is cool. I like it. I enjoyed the Frost build. I think it's marginally fun to play. And I'm like, I wonder if Fire is cool. I wonder if Lightning is cool. I don't know. I'm just gonna roll a Barb though, because this isn't like I'm not gonna level a second Sorceress, and I'm not gonna respec and break my shit. I'm gonna roll a new character. Oh, I'm gonna roll a Druid now. Druids are owning. I'll just do that. So.
And I get that. I mean, I get that to a T because I'm on my third Necro now. And honestly, you're crazy for doing that, man. Yeah, and I am crazy, and it doesn't help me that I have two crazy. I mean, I have one 100 Necro, the other guy's like 94, 95, and now I'm like 83 maybe on the third. And none of those previous Necros helped me at all with the third. I'm starting completely over, but I'm playing the same class.
Oh, you got that Pog ring? Oh, good thing you got to be level 100 to put it on.
It's so crazy to me. That's
you know what I mean? Like, why are there level restrictions at all on the gear? Like, I don't.
No. To me, it should be like Ancestral level 60, Sacred level 40. Everything else.
That's it.
Yeah.
Boom. That's it. Like, that's literally it. If you even want that in the game. Like, who cares? Who cares if I give an Ancestral ring to a level 1 toon? Somebody had to kill the shit to get that ring. You know what I mean?
We don't want that because like rares are tradable, and then you can just get on an RT site and gear up your character instantly.
People are gonna bot anyways, or like
yes,
but it's like if I get on, if you're like yo P, I'm making a new barb. I'm like, oh okay, cool. I'm like, hey yo, I just got this badass barb ring. Let me hook you up, and I drop the ring for you. Like, who cares? You know what I mean?
I don't like that. I think that it should absolutely be like Ancestral 60. Sacred's 40.
I'm okay with that too. I'm also okay with having no restrictions, but at the same time, that would definitely make leveling like you get super 20% crazy.
Crit at level 1. Like, I don't know.
But leveling's not the fun part of the game.
But it's still like neat. Like, imagine you're a brand new player. Like your little brother starts playing, right? And you're a good player. You've got this crazy gear. Like, hey, throw this on. Like, he's not getting any benefit from you just gearing him out. Like, he's a god from level 1. He's not learning a damn thing about the game.
Okay, so I'll put it. No, but let me put it in other terms that can relate. My son's never going to be super great at the game, at least not in the next feasible couple years, right? He just, like, for him, he's not going to theory craft. He's probably not. If you don't have the ARPG background, I think Diablo is a great game to come into because it's super simplistic. But still, you still have to understand, like, if you go look at the resistance system, it's not going to make sense to a normal person. You're not going to sit there and go, I have 84% cold resist or frost resistance. How am I still taking frost damage? Well, actually, it's because it's additive, and then with your armor, like all the math that breaks down to understand, like the math is not additive, it's multiplicative on the resistances and blah blah blah. You're not going to get that. And so if I go in and my son's playing with me and he's 12 years old, and I throw him some Pogger stuff, and he's rolling through the campaign one shot and things, he's having a great time. He's probably going to quit the game anyways before it matters. So I completely don't invalidate your point. I think you're right. You're not teaching somebody how to play the game by giving them stuff. But I also think there's a good time to be had with somebody getting OP stuff in the early game and saying, oh, this is what you do at level 100 to mobs. Okay, I want to do that. I'm going to put a little bit more research into it and figure out how I can get like that. So anyway, I don't care either way, but level 60 max on any item in the game. And you should be able to trade legendaries and uniques. If they were in your party. If they were in your party, when you get the drop, 100% you should be able to give it to them.
I agree. But you could also like sell stuff that way too. But yeah, I'm with you.
Well, they'd have to be partied with you. So are you going to AFK in dungeons while somebody carries you?
Yeah.
Like
you could pay like a service to fucking do that. Yeah.
Well, you could just pay a service to play your character too, though.
I don't know. It is risky territory. I'd rather people have to earn it. Like if I'm being honest, if I have to choose one or the other, I'm choosing. They're not.
I'm with you on that. People are going to cheat, but they're going to cheat either way. And so I do think there's been many times where I've grouped with other players that were on the same class as me, and I got good items that I already had. And my example is the unique teleport chest. I forget the name of it, where you teleport and it groups all the mobs up. Like I had I had one, and it's like I got a second one. My buddy didn't have it yet. Higher level than me, even better geared than me, even, but he didn't have it. And I'm like, shit, bro. I would love to give this to you, but I can't. No. So we were in the same dungeon doing the same stuff. I don't know. I think it's maybe that's just the D3 mentality carrying over because we used to, you and I specifically, even on seasons, we were rolling double necros, and it's like, bro, I need a Crisbees so bad. Like, can I get me a drop? So.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's it for the season.
Well, there's one more thing. So there's one thing I thought of as we were sort of talking here. On the other, there's another positive probably here. I want to say probably in sort of asterisk is, during this live stream, they time and time again mentioned like this bulky patch that's coming to Diablo 4 that has like a bunch of fixes, balance updates, stuff like that. So if we actually do get a really, really hefty balance patch, and this is the season 1, I like, it's okay. It's a way better than I could have probably imagined from Blizzard. It's still not obviously Path of Exile tier in any way, shape, or form, but
I thought about that during the season 1 reveal. Actually, the thought that went through my mind was, have you seen the PoE patch notes? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's crazy to expect that.
Right.
I don't know how PoE does it, but we've talked about it for 5 years now.
Right.
And like literally on the pod.
They're just better at it, really. I mean, that's it.
And it's like their patch notes, I don't even play PoE, and I'm still like, when I see their patch notes, I'm excited. I'm like, God damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy levels of stuff. I hope the patch comes with that, right? The patch that hits on the 18th. I hope it's like, whew. Can't wait to try this build out. Oh wait, I can't respec. I don't know.
I'm at the very least expecting sort of the really big annoyances to be cured, like the passives that straight up don't work, or the passives that break in interaction with other passives. I'm hoping that the stuff that you look like, if a new player comes into the game and they like put 4 points into whatever, like they should be rewarded for that, and they shouldn't be like, well, they didn't know that actually doesn't work right now. I hate stuff like that. And even Path of Exile is guilty of that. Like, you'll spec into a passive on the skill tree, and all league, you're like, oh, well, I have to have this. Like, I'm a poison build. I can't not run a poison build and not run this like one passive. And then you get the patch notes at the start of the next season, and you find out literally the entire last league it didn't even work, and you had no idea.
That reminds me of Wilson. Like I was playing what build? Oh, God, I don't even remember what I played on Wilson. Some kind of
played minions at first.
Yeah. And the passives just straight up didn't work.
Right. Yep.
They were just like, and I'm like, how am I doing no damage?
Right.
Like this, I'm like thinking, man, they made this game hard as hell. Like I'm fighting these bosses and I can't get a single hit, and I'm killing them without even getting hit at all. And it's just like, oh, and I'm like, none of their passives work. That makes sense.
Like literally none of them.
Like none of them work.
It was crazy.
I'm like, how do you ship that? I guess it was pre-release or beta or something. Whatever.
I remember like you're playing him, and I remember like looking at minions, and I tried them at first too, because I started a necro, and I was like, well, they seem undertuned. Like even with the things in it, they just don't seem to do a lot of damage. And then when they came out the patch, it's like, oh yeah, like. Made X passive work was like the patch note. It's like, oh god,
it was like, yeah, made your 40,000% damage passive actually work. I'm like, oh, okay, that would have been helpful when I was playing.
Yeah, that was wild. That was wild.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And that's kind of what some of this reminds me of. Is some of that is on that tier, but
I kind of want target dummies for that reason.
Yes.
At worst, like just give me a target dummy. In town, in wherever, in our hideout. Like, I swear we should have hideouts. Like, hideouts should be in a very near season. And I steal it from PoE, 100%. Sell cosmetics. I don't even care. Let us customize our hideout, put the things we want in there. And target dummies should be one of those things we get to put in there. And just let us hit it. Because if I can equip a skill and just, basic, and to put a talent point in and literally see the damage go up, then, okay, that's working. Have something that hurts me. Let me put a talent point in. See if my shield, my defensive talents are working. Test my resistances. See, I don't know. It's like, that seems like so much free beta testing for them. It's like, oh, you're finding all the bugs in our talents. Thanks.
Yeah. And it is sort of wild. It's like, I'm in a Discord server with a lot of Diablo 4 players, and the bug reports that hit that every single day. And it's just like, some of the stuff I see is like, wow. Like, wow. Okay. Let's go. That is crazy. Yeah. So, but yeah, we're I think we're both in agreement that we hope a big juicy round of patch changes would be sort of ideal. I don't really have anything to talk about for Path of Exile other than, hey, guess what's happening? Not next week, but the weekend after that is ExileCon. I'm super excited to sort of.
You are going, right?
No, I can't go.
Oh, damn.
But I'm excited to co-stream it for the first time ever. Like, that'll be Poggies.
Yeah.
I would love to go, but like it's an $1,800 plane ticket just to get there, and
that's not.
That's oof. Come on, Ad. Jeez, it's so long.
YouTube Premium, sir.
Yeah. So this is sort of the other trailer that we didn't showcase last week, but it's just, it's exciting. It's super exciting stuff.
Yeah, I'm nervous how they're going to fit all the content from PoE 1 in. That's the biggest concern that I have from everything. But what I've seen, the gameplay trailers I've seen, it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, I am super, look at those abilities.
Yeah, they're like animation locked, like
lost art. If you look at this and you see this play, and how do you not look at this and just think, those abilities look fun to press?
Yeah.
It doesn't look, I don't know, man.
Yeah. Dude.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do. I'm nervous to see what they're going to do with all the PoE 1 content. If they adopted some Lost Ark style combat,
it looks like they are. Like, dude, that's what every single one of these trailers looks like.
I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm really not.
I'm not either.
But if they do, baby, it's going to be disgusting. It could be fun.
It's already going to be disgusting.
Super fun.
It could be. This game's going to be God tier no matter what. But I agree. Like, if they fix, enhance the combat of Path of Exile, that'd be insane.
It would be insane. Yeah, it could be absolutely insane. I'm also a little nervous about their monetization. Like, their schemes so far have been pretty good for the most part.
I think nervous about their monetization.
I wonder if they're going to change it. I wonder
why would they change it?
Exactly.
As long as
Why
Chris
would-
Wilson's at the head of that company, nothing's gonna happen.
You think it's
100%.
okay?
Yeah. As long as Chris Wilson's
Okay.
sitting at the head of GGG, we are good.
I'm always worried about monetization. I feel like, and as much as I like Blizzard games, and as much as everything else, I think that they're predatory as hell, especially after Immortal. Like Immortal made me just go, goodness, like it was unbelievably worse than I ever would have imagined.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I honestly cannot believe that Immortal was that bad.
Yeah.
And so Diablo 4, I think luckily Immortal set a community outcry that reached Diablo 4 to an extent to where as of now power seems to be excluded from the battle pass and from from the shop.
Yeah.
But I'm like every game it seems like they just get more and more predatory, especially with the gambling and the loot boxes. And it's like there's games I play. It's like Madden, like it's huge titles, Call of Duty, Madden, NBA 2K series, like all these games that are like public have been staples for 20, 30 years. Like Madden's been around since we were in junior high, right?
Yeah.
Maybe before. Like the amount of monetization they're putting in a $70 title blows my mind. I'm like, you're paying $70 for the game and there's still all this shit. Call of Duty is insane, So I don't know. I'm scared, man. Monetization schemes have felt really bad lately, and I think it's just going in the wrong direction.
Yeah. I mean, I agree on the one hand that like games that keep coming out, like it's getting more and more yikes. Do I have any fear that Path of Exile is going to change? No, absolutely not. But
yeah, I hope not.
I agree, but I'm not. I'm not like a horror.
I don't
gamer
have any
like
reason
you
to
are.
think that either. So you're not a what?
I'm not like a horror gamer. Like
Yeah.
variety
True,
streamer.
true. Yeah, true.
I just play the two things.
Yeah,
really.
every game I get in feels like it has microtransactions and DLCs and skins, and it's like, an example. I got Gotham Knights, which has horrible reviews, right? But it was on sale for like $10 the other day, and so it does have a co-op mode. And so I don't really have anything to play with my son at the moment. And I was like, hey, you interested in playing this with me? He's like, yeah, sure. So $20, I got 2 copies, bought it. Log in, and there's like skins that are just deluxe only, like right there, right in front of you in the thing. And it's like, okay, it's a single player game, man. Like, I mean, it's multiplayer, but it's not like an online live service game, right? And it's just, but it's like, okay.
Well,
like,
I mean, but you're like, if you buy a skin for a single player game, like, I don't know, like, seek help.
I totally get it, but why can't I unlock it in the game? Like, why put it behind an achievement? You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't. That's my thing. It's like, this is a single player game. Why are there microtransactions in there?
I don't care. Why does it bother you that some cosmetic bullshit? It's not like it's making you powerful.
It doesn't bother me. I just think it's scummy, and it's just like the trend now.
I don't care. Though. Like, make as many cosmetics as you want. If some whale out there is going to spend $20,000 on your game, that's good for all of us because it's just more money you guys have to like spend on development and whatever. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, if it's not power, I agree with you. Yeah. But like here's an example. Like I spent money on PoE. I probably spent $60, maybe $80, I don't remember. All the stuff I bought was quality of life investments. It was stash tabs and things like that, right? Mm-hmm. But my character still looks like a homeless man running around, right? Like, because I didn't buy cosmetics. Mm-hmm. And like, that's cool, but you can't. I don't know if I can say this with confidence. You can probably answer. There aren't cosmetics in PoE that look super poggers that you get for free that I've seen, that I'm aware of. No, there might be.
I don't think so.
But there's not. Like, if I want to have big glowy dragon wings and all this cool shit, I got to spend $100.
Wow, it's spend like $10-$20, yeah.
Wings are like 40 last time.
Okay, if you want to get wings, if you're one of those weirdos.
Yeah, that's just for the wings. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, so you're spending some money if you want some cosmetics. Who cares?
It's a free game,
It is, and that's another reason that I think that it's scummy is that some of these games are not free and they
Diablo
have this shit in them.
To sort of like, I will say, you can go to the armory, you can make yourself look decent. It's not like anything I've seen on the shop so far has been like, wow,
Yeah,
that's
I
so
agree.
different than in game.
Nothing on the shop looks so good that some of the shop stuff is just recolors of
Yeah.
shit you already have, which
Most
is
of the
like,
stuff I see in the shop is like, there's no way I'd buy that in a million fucking years.
yeah, it felt lazy if I'm being honest. It was like you just recolor. Day one shop had a recolor of a sorceress set that you could get. It was literally just blue instead of like a darker turquoise color.
Right.
Okay. Like I don't care about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
All this to circle back to yes.
PoE 2 looks good.
Be co-streaming the shit out of Path of Exile to ExileCon. I'm really excited to do that. I mean, it's gonna be crisp. Like I can't even imagine. I'm like giddy as a fucking schoolgirl because we're getting the Path of Exile League announcement, which I feel like they're saving a lot of juice for this next league for Path of Exile. I feel like it's gonna be huge.
Gotta steal those D4 players back.
Yeah, and then of course we're gonna get all this news on Path of Exile 2. We're gonna see people play it.
You think they're gonna drop a release date?
I don't know. Maybe.
I feel like they might.
I don't know if they want to put themselves into like that pressure. I mean, they might say like,
I mean, they've been
Q2 next year
for years and years and years.
Asterisk.
So maybe it's close.
I don't know. But Path of Exile is like they want to make a good game and like they're god gamers. I don't know. We'll see. But obviously, I'm just like everything. I'm just so excited. I'll even get excited if Einhar is on the stage for like the first 5 minutes. Probably at this point, like I become this, PoE enjoyer, little schoolgirl around every single. When Chris comes on, he's like, "Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games," and before everyone would be like, "Woo!" I'd be like, "Wow, why are people freaking out for Chris Wilson saying hi? I'm Chris Wilson," and now I'm like, "Yeah!"
You're like Chris Wilson. I love you.
So I get it. I get the hype. I've converted.
That's funny. All right. Is that you want to go into some loves? Do you have anything else?
No,
loves and hates.
That's sort of it. Loves and hates.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I forgot about that segment. I didn't think anything up.
I forgot to. But I always hate things, so this should be easy enough. Fuck, dude. Before I started the stream, I was trying to make we like when you go to a festival, you do candy it's like these little bracelets you make, and there's like this. If you're talking to someone and you're having a conversation and you're like digging their energy or you're vibing with them, you can like be like, hey, let's trade some candy. So you give them a bracelet, they give you a bracelet, and it's just like this fun little thing.
So you go rocking a lot of bracelets.
Yeah, you go rocking you probably bring like 5 to 10. That's sort of like a standard.
All right.
And it's just fun. It's just like a fun little thing that you do, and you end up with sometimes you end up with bracelets that are like kind of cool looking. Sometimes you end up with bracelets that just say like cock on them or whatever. It is what it is. You sort of get what you get. You don't get a pick, right? You don't look at the other person's bracelet. They just give you what they want to give you in the moment, and it's sort of sometimes it's really funny, and sometimes it's like, what the fuck did you just give me? And so I was trying to make, me and my best friend were over here before the podcast, and we were trying to make candy, and it is impossible. We dropped every single we spent 2 hours trying to make one bracelet, and both of us not only dropped our bracelet multiple times and the whole thing came apart, but I couldn't tie I got mine finally together 4 times, and I just could not tie the knot before the whole thing came undone again. I'm not meant for it. I'm not an arts and crafts person. It was the most frustrating thing in the world. So and it's stupid too, because you can get on Etsy and it's $2 for 5 bracelets, and you get to customize all of them.
Somebody's got their kid.
Yeah,
it's some poor, making bracelets, man.
Hell yeah.
Oh, man.
Some tiny hands, dude, right?
Tiny hands. Yeah, tie those knots, tiny hands. Burger King hands over here.
I can't do it.
That's funny. What do I love? I'm trying to think. What have I been playing?
Not D4.
What have been? Why I have not been playing D4. I don't know, man. I'm trying to think of even. This isn't a loves. It is for love, I guess. My wife loves scary movies.
Okay.
I think they're garbage, personally. Don't like them too much. She came to me and she's like, "Hey, I really want to go see the new Insidious movie in the theaters, whatever."
Which one's that one?
Insidious.
Is that the one where he was in the MR machine and
Yeah.
The dude runs
Yeah,
up. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's the red. It's called the red door.
Okay.
And so I'm like, okay. But she's like, but you have to go see. You have to watch the first couple with me because they go in order. It's like they're related. It's like a series or whatever. I'm like, okay. So Saturday I watched Insidious 3 and 4. And then Sunday we went and saw the fifth one. Man, they were horrible.
Really?
Like people like that garbage. I don't know. They're pretty bad to me.
I think
She
all
liked
horror
it. She
movies
thought
are pretty dog
she
shit.
thought it was a good time, but it just reconfirmed to me that I don't like horror movies. And it also kind of gave me an appreciation because she probably feels that way about Marvel and superhero movies that I always make her go see. I'm like, yo, let's go see the new Avengers or whatever. And she,
What was
I
the
don't know how
last good Avengers or superhero movie you saw? Really?
It's been a while, man.
Yeah.
Like they've been pretty bad.
They've been
to be
real
honest.
shit.
They've been pretty shitty. I saw what was the last one that I saw? What was the last one that came out? Was it Thor?
I think
No,
there's
it wasn't
one
Thor. It was the
the guy
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy was okay,
Nah,
but it wasn't good.
No.
It was just like, oh, it was okay. But it was C tier in the grand scheme. If you're ranking them,
Yeah.
it was definitely C tier, maybe
100%.
D plus.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, not good.
No.
All right, let's go to some questions.
Do it.
You guys want to submit questions to the podcast, you can join our Discords, and we both have Ask New Meta sections there. You can tweet them to me at ThaPChild, or tweet them to Fluff at Lord__Fluffy. The first question comes from Purple Dragon. Say, how do you feel about the Zoom? I know we've talked about it before, but forums and Reddit have a lot of posts where people are complaining about the Zoom.
Oh, the zoom in of Diablo 4.
Zoom in D4, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is only a discussion topic because of the horse. Like if we never had the horse, or if we never got zoomed out from the horse, we wouldn't even know. So like it's I think it's silly.
It seemed close to me.
It does seem close, but
before I even got the horse on launch day,
I don't know, but you can't really say that.
There's two zoom modes. There's zoomed and super zoomed. I wanted to zoom out very badly. You could be right about the horse zoom. Maybe it's like this thing that now we can't get over.
We can't be unbiased.
Or the world bosses, right?
Right.
But even the movement in town and like going over bridges and leaving, it's just weird. But yeah, let us zoom out a little bit. I don't see what it hurts. It gives you more information, which will make you a little bit better of a player, maybe. But my vote is let us zoom out 100%. So,
okay.
Do you agree? Disagree?
I think that
it's definitely a topic I've seen as well, personally.
Of course, people want more, and it's unfortunate that like, yeah, we had more, or we have more in the game, so we know it's possible. So people are like, yeah, just give us that. I don't know. It's weird territory, I guess. The answer.
Captain Beans says, I've been reading the forums and Reddit about PoE 2, and there are people who think it will be inferior to D4. Tell me why you think they're crazy.
Well, I think that if anything, what we've learned from, since Diablo 4's launch, we have learned basically that seemingly all the player base are like married guys with like 5 kids that only have an hour of time per week to game. Seemingly.
You had me at the first couple check marks. I'm like, wait, what are you saying about me? I got more than a couple hours.
So yeah, I think that this is sort of brought to light like just how crazy fucking casual the general population. I think we're just now getting to the point where the average player is like maybe finish the campaign.
It's crazy to me. Yeah, it's crazy to me how many prominent gaming figures have no ARPG experience. Like I see so many talking about all the things they love in D4, and I'm like, you've never played ARPG, have you? You know what I mean? Like this is it's missing so many elements. But yeah, why do I think? I think. Listen, you guys have listened to the podcast forever. You know I'm not a PoE2 shill or.
Are you calling me a shill, brother?
I'm not Fluff. Okay, listen, I'm not a shill. PoE2 is gonna spank the boots off of D4. I personally feel like it's gonna come in and just literally.
I feel like you saying that jinxes it because you're not a PoE enjoyer, so now you just like curse the rest of us.
I'm not, but I really do. I think it's gonna come in, especially now that it's out. Now that it's actually out and the GGG is playing D4, they're just gonna be like they gotta be sitting back there going, oh man, like
it's locked, it's in the bag,
it's done, donezo. Whatever. They don't have pressure. I don't feel anymore to rush their game. For a while, I thought they had to beat D4 to the table, to the punch, come out before. They don't have to do that. Oh. They don't have to rush. They can polish the product. Mm-hmm. They can see the falls that D4 has from playing it and make sure they don't repeat those mistakes. And they have the foundation of PoE 1 to build off of, which I don't know if that'll be a positive or a negative, but yeah, I think it's going to smoke it personally. I don't think it's going to be more successful. I think if you asked me, D4 is going to be the most successful game ever, right? Probably in Blizzard's history ever. But PoE 2 won't be near as successful, and it won't get the clout. It won't have the streamers playing it. You won't hear IGN making a new D4 article, a PoE 2 article every day.
I don't know about the streamers.
You're not going to see you're not going to see. Well, I'm talking about like there are guys, but you're not going to have. You're not going to have who's the hot tub streamer that's in there all the time.
Wow,
Amaranth. You're not going to have. You're not going to have. You're not going to have Amaranth in the PoE 2 directory for a month.
PoE 2 directory is going to be blasting.
I don't see Amaranth
to say
I don't see Amaranth in the PoE 2 directory for a month. She's still in the D4 directory. I just don't see that.
Yeah, because it's not like the new hotness. I guarantee you once PoE 2 comes out, like Asmon's going to be on it, Shroud's going to be on it. These guys
Asmon plays ARPGs though. It makes sense for him. Shroud,
listen,
he'll get paid, so he'll do it. But I don't know, man. I just don't think the guys that aren't getting paid to do it, I don't think will stick around that long. And especially if you're a casual ARPG.
Listen, here's the thing though, because they're getting that taste. Right now they're getting that taste of an ARPG with Diablo 4. And
you can't. And PoE is so complex, they're not going to I think that's PoE's biggest and best feature, worst and best feature at the same time. I've played a lot of ARPGs. I played PoE for 100 hours, and I still didn't know what the F was going on 90% of the time. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing, right? People aren't going to, unless they change the game, which they're not, people aren't going to comprehend what the hell they're doing. And they're going to leave. I don't know. It won't be as successful commercially as D4. They're not going to have billboards in Times Square. So it'll be a better game though, 100%.
Okay.
Dirtnap says, what cheap food would you still eat even if you got filthy rich? Still eating ramen if you're filthy rich? You eat ramen now?
No.
I'm trying to think of the cheapest food that I'm like, I love this shit.
Damn.
Like what's like the most horrible? Somebody in chat said frozen hot dogs. Listen, I regret telling that story. I'm not gonna lie. I will eat ramen. I like ramen. I don't eat it often, like maybe once or twice a year, but I do kind of like it though.
I'm not a ramen. I mean, I definitely was when I was poor.
Pizza's cheap and delicious. But I don't know if
Yeah.
that counts as a cheap
No.
food though.
No.
It's like if you're eating the Tonys, like those $1
Yeah.
cardboard box Tonys
Do they even
pizzas.
sell those anymore?
They're
don't
probably
think
not
so.
$1 anymore.
Yeah.
But those things were like a staple in college. It was ramen and Tony's little cardboard box pizzas.
Yeah.
I'd
probably still eat like a Jack's pizza if I was loaded.
Jack's pizzas are kind of good though. They have like that, there's something about a cheap ass Jack's pizza. It's still good. I'll say ramen for me. I don't know.
Okay.
Let's see. Acre says, have you ever purchased anything from a door-to-door salesman?
No. I
have actually.
Okay. What'd you get?
I got sold a vacuum.
Oh no.
Hear me out. This is horrible. Hear me out. It sounds horrible to say out loud. I was sitting here, guy comes, knocks us on the door. He's like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And I'm like, instantly, it pisses me off when people knock on my door in the middle of the day because I'm working, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just don't have time. And they're always, guys like, blah, blah, blah. Somehow, I don't know how. The guy was charismatic, nice guy. I somehow I'm like, okay, what's your pitch? Like, what do you got? And he comes in and is a Kirby vacuum. You ever heard of Kirby vacuums?
Of course, I had one.
Yeah, Kirby vacuum.
I think my parents fell for the same thing.
Yeah, it was like so he's like, get your what vacuum do you have? And I have like this Dyson, like expensive Dyson, like hair pet fur. Like, check this out. Use your Dyson, vacuum up this spot on the floor right here until you think it's good. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I got a Dyson, bitch. Let's go. So I vacuumed it up, and then we got the thing. Either way, I ended up buying it. I actually like the vacuum. I still have it to this day. I've had it for probably 6-7 years now, and it rocks, man. Like no lies, it smoked my Dyson. So, yep, that's it.
Okay.
Everybody else that comes and knocks on the door, I'm like, get off my property. I had one guy get belligerent back. I'm like, no thanks, I'm not interested. And he kept talking, and I had to be like, dude, get off the property.
Yeah.
So, all right. Squidstar says, if we had health bars in real life, what would be the equivalent damage or something that would have to happen to you to make you lose 1 HP?
Someone asking me to repeat myself.
You lose HP?
Yeah.
Every time? So what'd you say? What? Stubbing your toe? Does that count? Stubbing your toe would be like 1 HP. Boom.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with that. Hex says, tell me your best revenge story.
Revenge.
You ever get some good revenge?
I mean, in my younger years, when I guess I cared about revenge, I definitely like slept with friends of an ex or something like that. I'm not proud of it.
Okay. That's pretty good revenge. Then how did you make sure they found out?
I don't know. I don't think so. But
so that wasn't really.
Well, maybe like I would. Maybe there'd be like a picture on social media of us hanging out or something like that.
Okay. All right.
Again, not my finest moment, chat. I know. I was young.
I can't. Like honestly, I'm not gonna tell my best because I'm a horrible person for what I did. But
are you talking about the pee in the car story again?
No, that's probably number 2.
Oh God.
I got one worse than
fuck.
Yeah. I got one worse than that,
Yikes.
but I can't. I'm not gonna tell that one. So I'll just go with the car one. Yeah. If you guys don't remember, there was an episode. You have to go back and watch the archives. There was an episode where I told a story about being in a car.
It was not your finest hour.
That was not. No, I was young when I did that, man.
Yeah.
You do a lot of dumb stuff. I was maybe just turned 18. Maybe I might even have been 17. So I was young lad when I did that one. The last one is from Mord Fustang. Nice name. What is one thing that you can't stand that everybody else loves? It's easy for me. This is so easy. Easiest question I've ever seen.
I'm so like against the grain. God, there's just like, I know there's so many fucking things. God damn it.
Buffalo wings.
You don't like buffalo wings?
I hate buffalo wings. Hate them. Everybody and their mom loves buffalo wings. I hate buffalo flavor. I don't like buffalo sandwiches, buffalo chicken, buffalo wings. That sauce is disgusting. And I'm like the only person in the world that doesn't like buffalo.
Yeah, I think I'm the only person in the world that doesn't like French fries.
That is kind of weird.
I don't like French fries at all. I don't like ketchup. I'm most condiments I'm not a fan of.
I don't like ketchup.
I think it's like tastes metallic. It's sort of like,
ketchup is the best.
Blood,
is the best condiment.
More tomato flavored. I don't know. I'm not a fan.
Ketchup and fries? Ketchup and cheese fries? Cheese tots?
I don't like fries. Dude.
Tots. You like tots?
I mean, I'm like a sweet potato tot fan.
What?
Yeah.
That's disgusting. Ooh.
You're disgusting.
Ooh. Yeah. I also don't like seafood. Most people like seafood. I can find other non-seafood eaters out there, but I don't think I've met anybody that doesn't like buffalo. If you don't like buffalo, then throw it in chat right now and let me know. Throw it in the YouTube comments if you're watching this on the YouTubes. Like there's got to be at least one other person out there in the world that hates buffalo like me. Haven't met you yet though. That's it, man. That's all the questions we got this week. Like I said, if you guys want to submit questions, the pods are kind of when we get Diablo news. We've been doing the pods, but throw them up there and then I'll make sure they're included in the next episode.
Yeah. Sounds good.
If you want to catch more of me, you can follow me on the Twitters at ThaPChild.
And once every new moon, you can catch him at twitch.tv/ThaPChild.
Yeah, every randomly, every now and then.
If there's a blood moon, or what's a fortnight? How long is that again?
Fortnight's a month, right?
Yeah, something like that. So
yeah, every fortnight, maybe you can catch me on twitch.tv/ThaPChild.
Hell yeah. And I'm Lord _, double those underscores on Twitter. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.